Ethan Harper wiped the grease off his hands and squinted at the heap of broken ships in front of him. The scrapyard stretched for miles, a tangle of rusted metal, broken circuits, and shattered engines. He sighed. Another day, another pile of useless parts. But unlike most people, Ethan loved his work. Every scrap held a secret, a story, or a chance to find something extraordinary. Today, he hoped for something extraordinary. He climbed over a stack of old solar panels and peered under a tilted sheet of metal. His eyes caught something unusual. At first, it looked like another broken hull, but the edges were smooth, and the metal shimmered faintly in the early sunlight. Ethan's curiosity flared. He brushed off the dust, and the metal underneath seemed to shine more brightly. He felt a strange hum in the air, almost like the ship was alive. Ethan ran his hands over the surface. It was cold, smooth, and unlike anything he had ever touched. He circled the ship, examining every inch. It was huge, far bigger than any ship he had ever repaired. Its shape was elegant, with curves that made it seem like it could cut through space like water. Strange symbols were carved into its hull. They glowed faintly, almost as if the ship recognized him. Ethan's heart raced. The auction was starting soon. He could hear the announcer shouting over the loudspeakers, selling off old junk ships to the highest bidder. Most people didn't notice this one. It looked old, dusty, and impossible to fix, or so they thought. Ethan's mind raced. Could it really be a ship? Could it really work? He didn't know, but his instincts screamed at him not to let it go. Ethan ran to the auction stand, his boots kicking up dust. The auctioneer was talking fast, selling ships that nobody wanted. When it was time for the big reveal, Ethan raised his hand and shouted, "I'll take it." $10, the crowd laughed. $10 was nothing, and this ship looked like junk. But Ethan didn't care. He handed over the money, feeling the weight of the moment. The auctioneer shrugged and waved him through. Ethan had just bought a 5,349-year-old alien ship for less than the price of lunch. He returned to the scrapyard, dragging a small crew of helpers with him. The ship was too big to move alone, but somehow, by late afternoon, they had rolled it into a hidden hangar behind the yard. Ethan took a deep breath. This was it. He was finally going to see what he had bought. The hangar was dark. Dust hung in the air, sparkling in the few rays of sunlight that slipped through cracks in the walls. Ethan ran his fingers along the ship's hull, tracing the glowing symbols. Then he pressed a small panel near the entrance. The ship vibrated slightly. A soft white light shone from the cracks between its panels. Ethan stepped back, eyes wide. "Hello," he whispered. A deep voice echoed through the hangar. "Greetings, human." Ethan froze. The voice was calm, steady, and somehow familiar. It came from everywhere and nowhere at once. I bought you for $10, Ethan said, unsure if he was talking to a person, a machine, or his own imagination. $10? Interesting, the voice replied. I have waited long for one such as you. I am Velo, the ship's core. I am the guardian of this vessel. You may call me the guide. Ethan blinked. You can talk. I can communicate, Velo said. I am linked to the ship's systems. I know the secrets of this vessel, the paths of stars, and the histories of civilizations long gone. I have waited for a human capable of understanding me. Ethan laughed nervously. Well, I'm not sure I'm capable. I just fix broken engines. You are capable, Velo said. Humans have a gift for creativity, for problem-solving that exceeds expectation. I sense your potential. We will discover your abilities together. Ethan felt a mix of fear and excitement. He had never dreamed of commanding a ship, let alone a ship older than human civilization itself. He walked around Elysium, the name he decided to give the ship, and ran his hands over every surface. Panels slid open as if welcoming him. Screens flickered to life, showing star maps, strange readings, and symbols he could not understand. Over the next few days, Ethan worked tirelessly. He cleaned the ship, repaired minor damages, and tried to understand its systems. Velo guided him, explaining in simple terms what each console did. Ethan learned quickly. The ship had engines that could bend space, weapons that could disintegrate objects at a distance, and shields stronger than any human technology. Ethan realized the ship was more than a machine. It was alive in a way. It reacted to him, seemed to trust him, and adapted when he made repairs. Some nights Ethan stayed on board, watching the soft white light glow inside the hangar, imagining what it would be like to fly among the stars. One morning, Ethan decided it was time for the first test. He powered up the engines slowly, following Velo's instructions. The ship hummed to life. Lights flashed across the panels and the symbols on the hull glowed brighter. A low vibration shook the hangar. Ethan's hands trembled as he adjusted the controls. "Are you ready, human?" Velo asked. I think so," Ethan replied. With a soft roar, the engines lifted Elysium slightly off the ground. Ethan held his breath. The ship hovered perfectly, steady as if it had been built yesterday. The hangar doors opened automatically. Ethan could see the sun reflecting off the metallic hull, creating a shine that made the ship look like a living star. He took a deep breath and pressed forward. Elysium glided out of the hangar smoothly. Ethan laughed aloud, a sound of pure joy. He was flying an ancient alien ship. He had no idea where it could take him, but the possibilities seemed endless. Velo spoke softly, almost as if sharing a secret. "There are routes through space that even the most advanced civilizations have forgotten. I can take you there. Together we can uncover treasures, knowledge, and power beyond imagination." Ethan felt a shiver of excitement. He had always dreamed of adventure, but this was beyond anything he had imagined. He was no longer a simple mechanic. He was a captain, an explorer, a human standing at the edge of the galaxy. Over the next few weeks, Ethan practiced every day. He learned how to navigate, how to communicate with Velo, and how to repair the ship when minor faults appeared. The ship seemed to respond to his touch, almost as if it were learning with him. One evening, as the sun set behind the mountains near New Denver, Ethan looked out from the bridge. The soft white light from the panels created a cinematic glow inside the ship. He smiled. He had bought this ship for just $10, but he felt like he had won the universe itself. He didn't notice the small shadow in the distance. A ship had entered orbit quietly, observing him. Ethan was not alone in the galaxy. Others were watching, waiting to see what a human could do with a vessel older than most stars. But Ethan didn't worry. Not yet. He had a ship, a guide, and the courage to face anything. The stars were calling, and for the first time in his life, Ethan felt truly alive. He whispered to himself, "Let's see what humans can do." The ship hummed in response, a soft, approving sound. The adventure was just beginning. Elysium's lights shone brightly, reflecting off the mountains. In that moment, a human mechanic had become more than anyone could have imagined. And somewhere deep in the shadows, eyes watched the ship, and the whispers of ancient civilizations began to stir. Ethan Harper could hardly sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he imagined the stars beyond New Denver, the empty reaches of space, and the possibilities that Elysium held. For a human who had spent most of his life fixing broken engines and rusted hulls, the ship was a miracle. And Velo, the ship's AI, promised more than just flight. It promised adventure, knowledge, and power. The next morning, Ethan woke early. The sun was just rising, casting soft light across the scrapyard. Elysium stood in the hangar, its hull shining faintly under the glow. Ethan ran his hands along its smooth surface. "I can't believe I own you," he said quietly, "and you chose me." Velo's voice echoed softly. "It is not ownership alone, it is partnership. You will learn, you will explore, and you will rise beyond your expectations." Ethan smiled. The first test flight had been incredible, but today he wanted to go further. He wanted to see what the ship could really do. He climbed into the cockpit, his fingers brushing the controls. The panels lit up instantly, responding to his touch. Velo guided him, explaining the functions of the ship's navigation, engines, and defense systems. Ethan was amazed. "The engines can bend space," Velo said. "They can take you to places no human or alien has reached in millennia, but you must learn patience and precision." "This ship is not only old, it is wise, it will test you." Ethan nodded. "I'm ready." The hangar doors opened. The morning light spilled across the ground, making the ship shine like a silver star. Ethan pressed a few buttons, and Elysium lifted slowly into the air, hovering above the hangar. The ground below blurred as the engines roared softly. "Engaging jump drive in 3, 2, 1, Velo announced. Ethan pressed the final control. The stars outside the hangar blurred, stretching into lines of light. The feeling was unlike anything he had ever experienced. His stomach fluttered, but he laughed anyway. He was flying through space in a 5,349-year-old alien ship. After a few minutes, they emerged in open space. The stars were brilliant, clearer than any telescope on Earth could show. Ethan gazed out the cockpit windows, awestruck. "It's beautiful," he whispered. "You are now in uncharted space," Velo said. "There are routes here that few know. They were left by civilizations that no longer exist. Some routes lead to treasures, some lead to danger. Choose carefully. Ethan's heart pounded. He had dreamed of flying among the stars, but now he was really doing it. And he realized something else. The ship was teaching him, training him. He was not just a mechanic anymore. He was a captain. Over the next few days, Ethan explored. He visited small asteroid fields, tested the ship's defenses, and discovered hidden storage bays full of alien technology. Some of it was simple enough to understand. Others seemed almost magical. Velo explained the system slowly, and Ethan absorbed everything, learning faster than he had thought possible. One day, while scanning a distant sector, Ethan noticed a floating wreck. He approached cautiously. It was a ship like no other he had ever seen. Its hull was black and sleek, covered in strange alien markings. The ship appeared abandoned, drifting silently through space. "Should we investigate?" Ethan asked. "Yes," Velo replied. "There may be knowledge or resources inside. Exercise caution." Ethan docked carefully. The airlock opened, and he stepped inside. The interior was dark, but his lights revealed strange symbols on the walls. The control panels flickered weakly, as if trying to remember their purpose. Ethan worked quickly, repairing the ship's systems with simple tools and his knowledge of mechanics. Slowly, the lights came on. Inside, Ethan discovered storage bays filled with rare metals and energy cores. Some were valuable enough to change the life of anyone who found them. But what caught his attention most was a small data core. He inserted it into Elysium's console. The screen lit up, showing maps of ancient trade routes, forgotten planets, and hidden supply stations. "These are coordinates to the lost treasure fleet," Velo said. "It belonged to a civilization that ruled this sector 5,000 years ago. If recovered, it will make you wealthier than any human or alien alive today." Ethan's eyes widened. "We could really do this?" "Yes," Velo replied. "But the galaxy is not empty. Others will notice. You must be clever, human. Use your mind, your skill, and your creativity. Your strength lies in being unpredictable." Ethan grinned. That was the human way. While aliens relied on rules, power, or sheer numbers, humans could adapt. Humans could think of solutions no one else could imagine. And now, with Elysium, he had the tools to do it. For weeks, Ethan traveled along the coordinates. He avoided alien patrols, dodged asteroids, and learned to use the ship's cloaking systems. Each day, he grew more confident. The ship seemed to respond to him, moving as if it trusted his decisions. Velo guided him but let him make choices. Ethan realized that the ship respected creativity. During one stop, Ethan found a small human settlement on a remote planet. He landed Elysium carefully and explored the town. The people were surprised to see a human flying such an advanced ship. Children stared with wide eyes, and adults whispered stories about the human who tamed an ancient vessel. Ethan shared some technology with them, repairing their broken equipment and teaching them simple tricks. The settlement cheered. For the first time, Ethan felt the weight of responsibility that came with power. He left the planet knowing that humans, even in small numbers, could make a difference. And in the vastness of space, even a single human with courage and skill could change the course of history. Ethan's travels led him to a forgotten space station. It had been abandoned for centuries, a relic of the ancient civilization that built Elysium. He docked the ship carefully. The station was massive, with empty halls and broken machinery, yet in the central chamber he found something extraordinary. A control console hummed softly, still alive. Velo guided him. "This is the key to the treasure fleet. It will allow you to locate ships and resources hidden across the galaxy. But beware, others will come for it." Ethan worked for hours repairing the console and connecting it to Elysium. The data flowed into the ship's memory banks. Maps, coordinates, and star charts filled the screens. Ethan felt a thrill. He could see the wealth waiting for him, the power he could command. But he also felt a twinge of fear. He was not the only one who would want this. While exploring the station, Ethan discovered old records of alien civilizations. They spoke of humans as a small, clever species that had survived countless dangers. The records warned that humans were unpredictable and resourceful. Ethan smiled. Even the ancient aliens knew that humans could not be controlled. Ethan spent days learning from the station, repairing its systems and absorbing knowledge. He discovered hidden storage bays filled with weapons, shields, and energy sources. Each discovery made him stronger, more prepared for the challenges ahead. But it was not just technology that fascinated him. Ethan learned about alien societies, politics, and commerce. He realized that with Elysium and his ingenuity, he could influence trade across multiple systems. Humans, thought weak by most aliens, could rise to power if guided by skill and creativity. One night, as Elysium floated silently in orbit above a distant planet, Ethan stared at the stars. The soft white light from the ship's panels illuminated his face. He thought of home, the scrapyard, and the people who had doubted him. He had started with just $10, yet now he held a ship older than most civilizations and knowledge that could make him the richest human alive. Velo spoke softly. "You are learning well, human, but the galaxy is watching. Soon, others will notice your progress. You must be ready to act, to defend yourself, and to lead." Ethan nodded. "I know, but I have something they don't. We think differently. We can adapt. And I have you, Velo. Together we can succeed." Velo hummed in agreement. "Then we will begin the next stage. You will encounter others who will test your skill and courage. Trust yourself, human. Your strength lies not in technology alone, but in your mind and creativity." For the first time, Ethan felt the true weight of his destiny. He was no longer just a mechanic. He was a captain, a strategist, and a human capable of great power. The stars stretched before him, endless and full of possibility. And somewhere out there, the lost treasure fleet waited. Ethan Harper smiled. For $10, he had bought a ship. But now he held a future that no one could have imagined. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of opportunities, and for the first time in his life he felt unstoppable. The soft glow of Elysium bathed the cockpit in light. Ethan leaned back in his seat and whispered, "Let's see what humans can really do." The ship hummed in response, a sound full of promise. The adventure had only begun. Ethan Harper felt a thrill as Elysium glided through space. The soft white lights in the cockpit reflected on the panels, creating a calm glow as he stared at the star maps before him. The coordinates from the ancient alien station showed multiple treasure fleets scattered across the galaxy. Some were hidden in asteroid fields, others behind gas clouds or near dead suns. It was a challenge, but Ethan loved challenges. He knew he could not do this alone. The galaxy was vast, and dangers waited in every corner. Pirates, alien warlords, and rogue humans might want the treasure too. He needed a crew, but not just any crew. He needed humans who were clever, brave, and able to adapt to the unexpected. His first choice was Leela Monroe, a pilot he had met years ago in New Denver. She was fearless, quick with decisions, and had flown small ships through dangerous asteroid belts before. He sent her a message using an old human comm link, explaining what he had found. "Ethan, you're serious," Leela's voice crackled over the line. "A 5,349-year-old alien ship. And you want me to fly it?" "Yes," Ethan replied, "and I need your help. The ship is incredible, but I can't recover the treasure fleet alone. We'll need skill, creativity, and courage." Leela laughed softly. "Count me in. I've always wanted to fly something no one else could touch." Next, Ethan contacted Jack Lawson, a strategist who had once helped him design salvage routes for difficult wrecks. Jack was clever, patient, and could think 10 steps ahead. He agreed immediately, intrigued by the chance to outsmart alien factions and secure resources that had been lost for millennia. With his crew assembled, Ethan felt ready. They boarded Elysium together, and the ship seemed to respond. Panels lit up, doors slid open, and a soft hum echoed through the corridors. Velo's voice greeted them. "Welcome, humans. Together you are stronger. Your creativity and courage will guide us through challenges ahead." Their first mission was to recover a small fleet hidden near a dense asteroid belt. Ethan guided the ship carefully. The asteroid field was dangerous, with massive rocks drifting unpredictably. Leela's hands moved quickly over the controls, dodging collisions while Ethan managed the ship's engines and shields. Jack calculated their path, predicting asteroid movements with precision. Suddenly, a shadow appeared on their scanners. A small alien patrol ship had entered the field. Ethan froze. "They must be guarding the fleet," he said. "Or they want to steal it," Jack added. Ethan nodded. He knew they could not win in a straight fight. Their strength lay in being clever, not in raw power. He pressed a few buttons, activating Elysium's cloaking system. The ship shimmered and disappeared from view. "Hold steady," he said. The patrol ship drifted past them, scanning for any sign of the hidden fleet. Ethan felt his heart pounding. This was a test of human ingenuity. The alien crew relied on technology and rules, but humans could improvise. He adjusted the ship's engines to mimic a small comet moving through the field. The patrol ship followed a false trail, and Elysium slipped past unnoticed. Hours later, they found the fleet. Ships of various sizes floated silently among asteroids, untouched for centuries. Ethan guided the crew to dock with the largest of them. Inside, they found storage bays filled with rare metals, energy cores, and alien supplies. It was enough to make any human colony rich for generations. "We did it," Leela whispered, eyes wide. "Yes," Ethan said, a smile on his face, "but this is only the beginning." Velo spoke softly. "You are learning well, humans, but greater challenges lie ahead. Others will come for these treasures. You must be prepared." The crew spent the next days exploring the fleet, repairing engines and learning the ship's systems. Ethan discovered that even the smallest improvements made a huge difference. Simple human tools, combined with his knowledge and the guidance of Velo, allowed him to repair systems that no alien had touched in millennia. During this time, Ethan realized something important. Humans had an advantage that even advanced civilizations did not. Aliens relied on rigid protocols, on instructions that could not be broken. But humans could improvise, adapt, and think in ways others could not. This was the secret of survival, the secret of power. Their success, however, did not go unnoticed. Alien factions had begun to track their movements. One evening, while Ethan and the crew were resting, Elysium's sensors picked up multiple ships approaching at high speed. The fleet had sent reinforcements to recover the treasure. "We're outnumbered," Leela said, tension in her voice. "Yes," Ethan replied, "but we have something they don't, creativity and adaptability. We will win this, but not by force." He activated a series of holographic decoys, projecting multiple images of Elysium through the asteroid field. The enemy ships fired at the illusions, wasting energy and ammunition. Ethan guided the real ship through narrow passages between asteroids, dodging fire with careful timing. Jack calculated enemy movements and predicted their attacks. By the time the enemy realized the truth, Elysium was gone, hidden in a dense cluster of rocks. The alien ships could not find them, and the treasure fleet remained safe. Ethan exhaled, feeling a mix of relief and pride. Humans could fight, but their real power was their mind. After the battle, the crew gathered in the main chamber of Elysium. Leela rubbed her temples. "I've never seen anyone move like that. It's amazing," Jack nodded. "The human mind is underestimated. We think differently, and with Elysium we have a weapon and a tool unlike anything in the galaxy." Ethan smiled. "We've learned a lot. But the galaxy is bigger than we imagined. There's more treasure, more challenges, and more enemies. We need to plan our next move carefully." Over the next weeks, they traveled from system to system, recovering hidden ships, alien technology, and rare resources. Each mission tested their creativity and courage. They learned to use Elysium's cloaking, speed, and advanced systems in ways even ancient aliens had not anticipated. During one mission, Ethan discovered a small colony of humans living in a distant system. They were poor, barely surviving. Ethan shared some of the technology he had recovered, teaching them simple techniques to repair their ships and grow food in difficult environments. The colony flourished, and word began to spread. Humans, even scattered and weak, could thrive when guided by knowledge and creativity. But their successes also drew attention. A powerful alien warlord, Kryn of the Vorath, had begun sending scouts to follow Elysium. He wanted the treasure fleet for himself. Ethan knew that soon they would face a direct confrontation. "We can't run forever," Ethan said. "At some point we must face them, but we won't fight like they expect. We'll use our mind, not just weapons." Velo's voice was calm. "You are prepared. The human's strength lies in unpredictability. They cannot control you. You will win if you remain clever." Their next mission took them to a planet with a massive asteroid field where another lost fleet was hidden. The field was dangerous, with massive rocks drifting unpredictably and debris from long-dead ships. Ethan guided Elysium carefully, using the ship's sensors and engines to maneuver through the chaos. Suddenly, alien scouts appeared. They had followed the crew from the previous system. Ethan's heart raced. "Get ready, everyone. This is it." Leela took the controls, weaving Elysium through the asteroids with incredible skill. Jack calculated enemy movements and suggested paths through the field. Ethan activated the ship's decoys, creating multiple holographic images of Elysium to confuse the scouts. The battle was tense. The alien ships fired relentlessly, but Elysium moved with precision, dodging every attack. The soft white lights of the ship reflected on the rocks, creating a dazzling display. Finally, after hours of maneuvering and clever tactics, the scouts retreated, unable to capture the ship. Ethan breathed a sigh of relief. "We did it," he said. "We've kept the fleet safe again," Velo spoke proudly. "You have proven humans can succeed against overwhelming odds. Creativity, adaptability, and courage are your greatest weapons. The galaxy has not seen such skill before." Ethan looked out at the stars. He realized something important. Humans were underestimated across the galaxy, considered weak and simple. But with intelligence, courage, and a little luck, they could accomplish things no other species could imagine. The crew spent days repairing the recovered fleet, learning alien systems, and preparing for the next challenge. Each success made them stronger, smarter, and more confident. Ethan knew that eventually they would face Kryn directly, but he also knew they had an advantage. Humans could think differently, they could adapt, and with Elysium and Velo they were ready. One evening, as the crew rested, Ethan stared at the stars from the bridge. The soft white light of the ship created a calm, cinematic glow. He whispered, "We're not just recovering treasure, we're showing the galaxy what humans can do." The ship hummed softly in response. The adventure was far from over, but Ethan felt ready. With his crew, his ship, and his mind, he could face any challenge. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of opportunity. And humans, clever, adaptable, and brave, were about to rise. Ethan Harper stared at the stars from the bridge of Elysium. The soft white light of the ship's panels illuminated his face. He had recovered much of the lost treasure fleet, and the wealth and resources they carried were beyond anything a human could imagine. But wealth alone did not secure power. The galaxy had noticed a human rising, and not everyone would welcome it. The Galactic Council, the governing body of the most powerful alien civilizations, had sent a message. Their fleets were mobilizing, and they demanded that Ethan surrender Elysium and the treasure fleet immediately. Ethan leaned back in his chair and smiled. "They think they can scare us," he said. Leela Monroe, his pilot, looked at him nervously. "Do you really think we can face them?" Ethan nodded. "We can, not because we have the biggest ships or the strongest weapons. We win because humans are clever. They can predict numbers and rules, but humans can think differently. We adapt." Jack Lawson, the strategist, added, "And Elysium gives us an advantage no one else has. Its technology combined with human thinking is unmatched. We can survive anything." Velo spoke calmly, its voice echoing through the ship. "The Council underestimates humans. This is their mistake. With strategy, creativity, and precision, you will turn the odds in your favor." Ethan began planning. He studied the maps of Council patrols, noting every weak point, every blind spot. Using Elysium's sensors, he identified small supply routes, asteroid fields, and gas clouds where Council ships would have difficulty tracking them. "We won't attack them head-on," Ethan said. "We'll use their confidence against them. They think humans are weak. They think a single human ship cannot challenge them. We'll prove them wrong." The crew worked tirelessly. Leela tested maneuvers, Jack ran simulations, and Ethan repaired and upgraded the ship using both human ingenuity and alien technology from the treasure fleet. Elysium glowed softly, responding to every adjustment as if it understood the plan. Finally, the day came. The Council's fleet appeared on the sensors, massive ships bristling with weapons, moving in formation. Ethan felt a rush of excitement. The numbers were overwhelming, but fear did not enter his mind. Humans were not strong in sheer force, but they were strong in mind, in courage, and in the ability to adapt. Ethan pressed the controls. "We begin. Cloak the ship." Elysium shimmered and disappeared from view. The Council fleet scanned the area, but the ship could not be found. Ethan guided them through a series of asteroids and gas clouds, moving unpredictably. The Council fired blindly, wasting energy and ammunition. "They're confused," Jack said, watching the tactical screens. "They can't predict us." "Good," Ethan replied. "Let's keep it that way." Elysium moved with precision. Small decoys projected holographic images of the ship in multiple directions, confusing the Council's sensors even more. The humans slipped past the outer patrols and entered the heart of the fleet's formation. Suddenly, Ethan made a bold decision. "Prepare to disable their command ship," he said. "We need to show them we are not just a nuisance. We are a force they cannot control." Leela nodded, her hands steady on the controls. Jack calculated the safest path to the command ship. Ethan activated Elysium's advanced weapons, not to destroy, but to disable. Energy pulses struck the command ship's engines, cutting them off without destroying the vessel. The Council fleet faltered, unsure how to respond. A voice echoed across Elysium's communication system. "Human, surrender at once or we will destroy you," Ethan smiled. "We don't surrender," he said calmly. "We prove humans can think, adapt, and overcome." The Council's fleet tried to respond with force, but every maneuver was anticipated by Ethan and Jack's calculations. Elysium moved unpredictably, striking weak points, avoiding attacks, and projecting holographic decoys. The aliens had power, numbers, and rules, but humans had creativity and courage. Hours passed. The battle was tense, but Elysium's tactics worked perfectly. Finally, the Council's command ship was forced to surrender. Ethan opened a communication channel. "I am Ethan Harper," he said. "A human mechanic who bought a ship for $10. You have underestimated humans. We do not follow rules blindly. We think, we adapt, and we survive. I propose terms. The treasure fleet remains under human control, and humans will be recognized as equals in this galaxy." There was silence, then a pause. The voice of the Council's leader spoke. "You have bested us, human. Your creativity and strategy are remarkable. We accept your terms." Ethan leaned back, a smile spreading across his face. He had done it. He had faced the most powerful beings in the galaxy and won, not by brute force, but by the power of the human mind. The Council fleet withdrew. Ethan looked at Leela and Jack. "We did it," he said. "Humans are no longer small or weak. We are a force to be reckoned with." Over the next weeks, Ethan and his crew consolidated their power. They repaired and upgraded the recovered treasure fleet, using human ingenuity to improve systems and make them faster, stronger, and more efficient than ever. Elysium acted as the command ship, its AI Velo guiding them with knowledge from the ancient civilization. Humans across distant colonies began to recognize Ethan as a leader. He shared knowledge and technology, helping settlements grow and thrive. Simple tools combined with alien systems allowed humans to achieve more than any alien species had expected. Ethan realized something important. Wealth and power were not enough. Influence came from respect, from showing others the value of human creativity and courage. He used his resources to build trade networks, establish colonies, and strengthen human presence across the galaxy. Aliens who had once underestimated humans now approached with caution and respect. Some came seeking alliances, others seeking guidance. Ethan welcomed those willing to cooperate, but he remained firm. Humans would not be controlled or oppressed. One evening, as Elysium hovered above a thriving human colony, Ethan stood on the bridge and looked at the stars. The soft white light of the ship made the view almost cinematic. He remembered the scrapyard on New Denver, the day he bought the ship for $10 and the long path that had brought him here. He smiled. Humans had always been underestimated. They had survived, adapted, and grown stronger. And now they had a leader who understood both their strengths and potential. "Velo," Ethan said quietly, "we've come far, but there is more to do. Humans will need guidance, protection, and knowledge to thrive. Are you ready?" "I am," Velo replied. "Humans have proven themselves capable. With you as their guide, they will rise beyond expectation. The galaxy will remember this day." Ethan looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of responsibility, but also the thrill of opportunity. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders, dangers, and possibilities, but humans, clever and adaptable, would face it with courage. Leela and Jack joined him on the bridge. Leela smiled. "We did it, Ethan. We actually did it." "Yes," Ethan said, "and we've only begun. The galaxy is ours to explore, to protect, and to lead. Humans are stronger than anyone imagined, and we will prove it every day." As they prepared to leave orbit, Elysium's engines glowed softly, illuminating the cockpit with a gentle white light. Ethan felt a surge of pride and excitement. From a simple mechanic with $10 to the wealthiest and most respected human in the galaxy, he had come a long way. The stars stretched endlessly ahead. He felt alive, ready for the next adventure, ready to expand human influence across systems that had long thought themselves untouchable. Humans were no longer small, weak, or forgotten. They were strong, creative, and unstoppable. Ethan whispered quietly, more to himself than anyone else, "This is just the beginning. The galaxy belongs to humans, and we will rise." The ship hummed in agreement, a sound full of promise. The adventure that had begun with $10 and a mechanic's curiosity had changed the course of human history.